And welcome to the Retirement Railroad 2.0 Workbench Wednesday, episode 39. This will be part 2 in the series 3 Little Lynn-gines. Alright, those 3 little switchers that Lynn McCurdy donated to me. Alright, this part has to deal with stripping and repainting and reflagging 2 VO 1000s. Again, they were, one was actually a Revell with a real smooth motor and drive mechanism, even though it dates back to the 50s, early 60s. And the other being an Athearn Blue Box. So, one will be a slaved dummy. When I talk about a slaved dummy, there'll be a wiring harness from it to the motorized unit. And they'll run in tandem all the time. It'll eventually have a Tsunami 2 decoder in it with a speaker in each locomotive. And a keep alive, so it should be a real reliable runner. And as I mentioned, the first thing you got to do is strip the old paint off, and then repaint it and re-decal it or flag it to the CB&Q or Burlington Blackbird scheme before we start working on all the mechanisms. So with that, hang tight and we'll get started. Here's 2 of the little Lynn-gines as they appeared from Mr. Lynn McCurdy, and they're 2 different schemes of the Southern Pacific. Now, before stripping them down, all right, they have to be taken apart and rails and so forth taken off. I've added a little arrow there so that you can see, as I talked about in the last episode, on the dummy trucks, that the axle bushings were plastic. Here you can see that they are brass. Now, after stripping down the shells in isopropyl alcohol, soaking with a light brushing afterwards, you can tell here that they're 2 different runs or from 2 different manufacturers, since the plastic of the cap on one of them was green. Alright, so I've got the frame all ready to go and pointing out where I have to mill out this frame. This is being done while the shells were actually soaking in the isopropyl to strip them down. I've got to cut away 4 areas, 2 on each side that I'm pointing to. And what that is going to allow me to do is fit a speaker down inside where the motor would mount if it was a powered unit. So, utilizing the Dremel, I am going ahead and milling this out. And it heats the frame up quite a bit, so you got to do little bits at a time. and you have to attach
power leads on two trucks as well. Because although this will be a dummy, it will still be picking up power. Just about got it. One angle I cannot get to with the Dremel, but I get it cut down far enough that since this is a rather soft metal, I will be able to use a screwdriver and pry the last remaining bits away. Screwdriver at this point. Pry. Off, I believe. Cut here. The other one pried off. See the two pieces here. Chunk right there. There's the other. Side frame. Now let's see how that speaker's going to fit right down in there. And what will happen is I'll put a piece of styrene across the top for the decoder to sit on, and that'll semi-enclose this speaker and make it almost like a baffle. So now that the shells are stripped and I've gone ahead and milled out the frame, it was time to paint the shells. Now, the first paint was Tamiya's XF19 Gray, which is the same as what was used on the Riverside Transfer boxcar. Now I went ahead and left the railings on while I gave it the coat of gray paint. It acted once dry, you can see that I have removed the railings and am now getting ready to start on the next step. You can see here that I have the upper portion of these shells masked off with some Tamiya 18mm masking tape, getting ready to shoot or spray on the bottom with XF60 NATO Black. There you go, after it's dry. A closer view comparing it to an existing. So the thing we got to look at now is the railings. They're already primered, and it's time to paint them the XF60 or 69 NATO Black. All right, so that's what we do here. Get them all painted up and get them reattached to the locomotive or locomotives. I only showed one set of railings, there were actually two to do. And this is how they started out. And here we have them with the railings reapplied, decaled, reflagged, and now we are ready to start on the mechanics.
All right, with the reflagging accomplished for these two VO 1000s, we're now able to get ready to do the mechanics and wiring them up for the master, which is the motorized and speaker unit, and the slave, which is the decoder, speaker, and keep alive. All right. With that, I want to thank you for joining me here at the Retirement Railroad 2.0 Workbench Wednesday. I'm Steve, and y'all have a great day. Bye now.